What's up? The Freshy. Nobody asked us.
Yes. Welcome to Nobody Asked Us with Des and Kara, presented by
TCS.
Boom.
Shalaka.
Stuff is going down tonight. It's the freshest podcast around, hottest takes. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Okay, so disclaimer. If you like Des and I at our most appropriate, this is not the episode for you. If you like grown-up rated conversation, this might be the one.
Oh yeah, no, I like adult grown up or like mature. Because we got
drinking games.
We got stuff out of this mystery box. I don't even know what. There was all kinds of strange stuff in there. We went with the most G-rated, so we got drinking games.
Mm-hmm.
In 90s edition, we don't know what's in it. We're gonna open up on the show.
Yeah,
and that's gonna
this
kick it off.
Madness.
This is the vibe. This is the vibe, and we did. I gotta say, we would with a very mature angle here because there was some.
Yeah, there were some really naughty items.
Yeah. Do you want to mention it?
Naughty.
Do we not even talk about it?
I'm a little bit nervous to say it.
Yeah, don't even say it. We don't even want to tell you. These were the safest ones, I promise.
Yeah.
Do you want to open them now?
Yeah, I think we should.
Which one do you want?
I mean, I kind of want the safety 90s edition.
All right, I'm good with drinking games.
Okay, are we just opening it?
Let's just open it.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, you just pull from the top. Right from the top.
Okay, let's just look at yours first.
This is great because we don't do IRL in real life pods ever.
Are these 90s? These are not 90s.
I'm disappointed. Those are like 70s.
I feel like we got ripped off.
Sort of a part of the game. All right. Wow. Well, this is a hitter. Who's the biggest freak? This is drinking game. We're gonna maybe partake in this during the pod.
We got a mini fingerboard.
That's wicked 90s. Ooh, do an ollie. Do an ollie pop.
Ollie pop.
All right.
Okay.
So who is the biggest freak? This was fun. Mystery box for the win. Oh wow. Okay. Well, this gives you an idea of how the mystery box look. Have you ever worn a rubber?
Wow. Wow. I don't think we're playing the drinking game.
Do you know what a plushie fetish is? Yeah, we're gonna pass.
Oh my God, do you remember this guy?
Who is that?
Where was he on?
I don't remember.
Who? People. He was on a show. We're not live.
Yeah, drop it in the.
Yeah, please tell me because this is
YouTube
gonna
comments.
really bug me. I want to say Earl, but it wasn't.
All right.
All right.
Oh, this is a good. I thought it was just the glasses. A troll doll.
Troll.
Colt.
Colt's getting some new
Toys coming your way.
Okay. Were you into that? I know you weren't.
No, was not into that. 90s.
Were you ever into mood rings, everybody?
Everyone was into.
I
mood
had like
rings.
50 of these and they were never
Everyone
right.
was into, like, nope, I'm mad again.
Okay. Well, that was fun.
Was it?
With that game away, we're not playing it right
We're going to pull at least one card.
Okay, pull a card.
All right. Well, there's a lot of packaging.
So we're coming at you at 5:46 p.m.
That's not right. That is.
We're coming at you at 7:46 p.m. Des ran the marathon today. We're gonna get into it. She ran awesome.
Thank you.
Then we met up for a little bit. Then I took a shower. Because my face was unrecognizable. And you ran a marathon.
You walked into the bar and you're like, you look like you ran a marathon. So I would have rather had your makeup face than apparently whatever was going on for me.
You just look like you ran a marathon, which you did.
Yeah, I did.
You're like
It's
a person
fair.
that ran a marathon.
That's an accurate.
Yeah. On a tough day.
So it's been a whirlwind.
It's been a whirlwind. Yeah. This is a lot of effort, Des.
I know, but
you're fast at the marathon. You're slow at opening up games.
All right, we're just gonna pick one card. And then I'm gonna decide if I actually.
Don't actually look at it first.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the deck of cards. This is gonna be huge on YouTube.
Huge. Go to YouTube if you want to see what we're doing.
Subscribe. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Who's the biggest freak? Do you ever fart on other people intentionally?
Yes.
Is that like a joke? That's like my pet peeve. Like when people on the airplane crop dust, and you're like, dude, like the bathroom is right there.
Crop dusting is very
So-
different than intentional farting.
No, on other people. That's like,
Jess, you don't have a 13-year-old, okay? He farts on me.
you have to do it back. Oh my gosh. We're learning so much already.
I feel like I should just stop talking.
All right. Okay, let's move on.
Oh no!
The cards
you're
are
getting
fine.
always not clean.
I just
Nobody likes
don't.
crop dusting, of course.
Oh, that's bad too. Let me see. I'm trying to find one that I can be like, yeah, no, I've done that.
Oh, okay. I know that Rivers and
Oh my gosh.
Boston
these
have
questions
cheated
are
on you before.
Are crazy. Have you ever tripped yourself while walking? I guess so.
I have, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever intentionally tried to scare a child? 100%. I did. I sent you and Betsy that I love. There's some of my favorite Instagram memes where a child gets really scared, but they were at the aquarium and it's like a dolphin or like an orca or something was like just cruising around, and there was like a kid trying to take a photo with it, and then it just goes right up behind it and like opens its mouth, is like, "Rah!" And the kid just like craps her pants and starts crying, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta send this to everyone. So
all
yes, all right, we've done the cards.
We're moving on.
All right,
To our listeners, we apologize.
I apologize for nothing.
Okay. All right. Today was the Olympic Trials Marathon.
Yes,
You ran.
I did.
I sat in the booth like a lazy person and talked about it.
Crushed it.
And I will say that it was an amazing day. And I'm
Yeah.
super pumped to hear your perspective because you actually ran it. But what were, like, when you were warming up and the vibes on the starting line, like, what's been the overall feel of the weekend from the local organizing committee, just like everything?
Look, Orlando crushed it. I mean, I think there was all these questions, and it's like safety and temperatures and yada yada yada. They did an awesome job. The course was great. The spectators were everywhere. They did an awesome job. I felt safe, secure. The warm-up area was fantastic. Super efficient buses to the start. Like, knocked it out of the park. I hope that they're happy. Like, you hear the aftermath of this stuff, and it's like, oh, we spent so much money, and it just feels like loss. I hope that the community's stoked. I hope that the organizers are stoked. I loved it. I had a blast. I thought they did a great job.
I felt like I obviously didn't run, but it's been like top notch. And they've had so many cool things happening throughout the weekend too. Like the local organizing committee helped me do like a youth thing
that was sweet.
last night. And I mean, they care about runners. And they were like really passionate to host this. So I think they did a great job. Good job. Track Shack. You crushed it.
Nice work.
Okay, so the thing, all I kept thinking while the races were happening was how many times you said, someone's going to come and someone's going to make that team and everyone's going to say they came out of nowhere, and that person has been thinking about it the whole time. And I feel like that's exactly what happened in the women's race.
Always does. Always
does.
Yeah.
So,
well, who are you thinking about when you say that? Like, give me some names.
I'm thinking a little bit about Dakotah, but also Fiona. But it was her first marathon, so maybe she imagined it, but she doesn't even know what it feels like, right? To imagine it.
It's fair,
right? So just from your perspective, the race starts. The women's race went for it. The men's race kind of was slower in the beginning, and then Zach Panning just made it electric. But the women's race from the gun was like, we're here to race.
Yeah.
Is that how you felt?
Yeah, it was insanity. Like, off the line, I'm like, I'm running like 5:25 pace. This is too rich for me. I mean, I guess it's mile one. We'll probably settle in.
Yeah.
Never settled in.
Yeah.
It was bananas. I think in the first, 3 miles, I was in like 65th place, and I'm like, you do that first hairpin, and I look back, and I was like, oh, there's the sweeper vehicle.
Sweet, I'm feeling good.
I think I'm running pretty fast, but the back of the pack is right behind me. That was just how fast it was. But you're also like, I tried to be really realistic. Like, how many people in the history of this race have run this fast? And like, it's not many.
No.
So there was a lot to think about in the early miles.
And at the beginning, it seemed like Emily Sisson and Keir D'Amato, it almost seemed like they had worked out a plan ahead of time, because one of them was leading and then the other one would lead. And I thought, I wonder if they've worked out a plan. But I don't know.
There
I
was
don't think they did.
a little chatter about that. I won't give too much away, but Shane and Emily Sisson stayed really close by us in like during training camp out here, and Ryan and Shane kind of talked every day, and it was like conversation about it, like how fast do we go? Can I trust this person? I know her agent, but I don't
Right.
really know her. Like, is she going to be reliable? And not about like just like back and
Right,
forth
right,
from
yeah.
both sides, not like Emily just critiquing Kira. But it didn't ever sound super solidified. But I
Right.
think in the last, like the final moments, it must have been like, hey, let's just at least agree to take turns,
Get the pace
and
going.
get this thing going.
Yeah. So that's what it looked like for a while. But then, I mean, it was not even that long ago. I'm trying to think because at one point Dakotah was leading and smiling and doing her thing. And I thought, oh man, like it's just too early to do that. You know, I was like nervous for her. It's a little early in the race. And there was a big women's pack.
Yeah.
Like it was meaty for a long time.
Yeah.
Did you have them in your sights?
I mean, you could see the elite, like the lead vehicle up ahead. I knew the pack was big, and then we would have like the turnaround point, like the lollipop thing. So at the end of or beginning of every lap, you could kind of get a glimpse of what was going on. But there was also little packs in front of me that I was like, oh, like I got to work on this before I can think about that.
Right.
So, but I knew it. Like I just knew I was really deep in the field and running relatively fast.
Right. What were you at the half? Do you know?
I bet I was like, time wise?
Yeah.
I was 1:12:50 something. And to be honest, like, I was like, I think 2:25 will make the team.
Yeah.
So
It did.
if I can get through the half in 1:13 and like have the legs to go a little bit negative split, like that's my ticket. Like that's the only way I can do this. I have to be perfect. And obviously I wasn't on the second half, but it did turn out to be what happened. Yeah. And I like Jess McLean. I don't know her last name.
Yeah,
new last name.
Jess McLean.
Crushed.
She did. So she wasn't even in our picture. Like we were watching, and I kept thinking that Betsy Sena was positioned so well. She was never in the front. She was always right there.
Yeah.
She was just like lurking, right? And there was other women kind of trading in the front and pushing. You could see they were pushing. I thought she is just situated so perfectly. And I kept thinking she's gonna run away with this. But the marathon is the marathon, right? And she ran a great race, and then it caught up with her, I guess, or she just wasn't feeling it. She dropped out. I want to say around 22 or
it was late,
yeah,
right?
23 maybe even. But we never saw Jess until they came down the home stretch.
Me. For a lot of
and all
it.
of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, like she was hauling. I was trying to figure out who is that. We didn't have a clear picture on the broadcast. I was like, is that Kellen Taylor? Because she always wears shorts and a hat, but it didn't look like her form. And then, what a race out of her. I mean, you mentioned her on the podcast earlier, her story.
She runs like a mad woman.
And that she had never been able to run a trial. She had qualified and she kept getting injured. And I mean, she just took the most out of the day and ran amazing.
And what was kind of cool was how happy she was as a fourth place finisher. Like, I talked to her almost immediately. I'm like, what'd you finish? She's like, fourth. And I'm like,
wow, this is the happiest fourth place
finisher
ever. Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. And she was really, she was stoked about it. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how many people actually PR'd today. Mm-hmm. It's probably pretty small number. She crushed her PR. So big things ahead for her, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting seeing her finish because there you could see she had given it her all and that she was happy. And I talked to her a little bit after too, and she was like, of course it would have been awesome to be able to catch Dakotah, but like I ran my best race I've ever run. You know?
How much more space did she need to catch Dakotah? Or was it never going to happen?
I mean, she was closing on Dakotah, but Dakotah also looked back and realized she had it, right? So who knows? I mean, maybe if they had gone another 400, it could have been different. But I feel like Dakotah was she was aware. Realizing what was happening. Yeah. But Jess was not relenting.
Yeah.
She was like, start celebrating. I'll come, you know?
Yeah.
It was really cool to see. So we obviously have to talk. I mean, Emily Sisson ran what I felt like was a flawless late race. Yep. She totally stayed out of trouble. She just waited it out. And, she was 3 minutes ahead of Dakotah.
Yeah, it was a total separate. Like
Yeah.
these two are for sure in this last spot. We're ironing things out. It sounded like Sisson had some side stitch stuff again, like she did in Chicago. And I mean, I think that experience in Chicago just really helped her out. Like,
Mhm.
okay, I can manage this. I can
Yes.
just stay comfortable. I love Em and Shane. I think they're great, and I'm allowed to be a fan on the podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were doing the last lap, of the lollipop, and like I kind of saw things sort of like breaking up, and I was just like yelling at her, like, "Come on!"
That's amazing.
I'm super happy for those two. That's cool.
The other thing I'll say about her is there was so much pressure on her last trials and this trials, right?
Yeah.
Last trials, everyone was like, she's the next big American star. So much pressure for someone. At that point, she'd only run a marathon, I want to say. She'd only run
Yep.
her debut.
Yep.
And there was so much pressure on her. And, you know, it wasn't her best day. It was heartache. She dropped out around mile 22. And then coming in again this time, it was all about her again, right? Because now she's run 2:18. And so I was like so happy to see her handle that, manage it. She had a side stitch, but she like stayed focused on just getting the job done, you know? And she looked very strong. Like she never looked like she was hurting.
Yeah.
It
Super
looked like she was
calculated,
like,
right?
yes, it looked like she was like, I'm just here to advance, you know, and I can't risk that pace right now. And I'm just going to get the job done. And Paris is when I'm going to really take some risks.
Well, I think Molly Seidel was second.
She was second.
So Molly Seidel's second. Tina Castro was second at the
Yeah.
trials.
Yep.
Both of those
Come
same place
home with
finishers
a
went on to
medal.
medal at the
Yeah.
games. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying it's probably going to happen.
Yeah, I know. Well, we aren't allowed to have favorites normally, but we are here. Dakotah Lindworm, for me, as a Minnesotan who've seen her win Grandmas, who's been around her,
Yeah.
I just was like, she believed beyond belief. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And she made that happen. And she had gotten dropped. Like they
Yeah.
were down to 5, and she was not in that pack. It was like Betsy, Sarah Hall, Carolyn Rotich, and you couldn't even see Dakotah anymore. And we went away, and we came back, and there she was, just like crawling her way back.
Yeah.
And then she and Carolyn Rotich were like running side by side. And I respect Carolyn Rotich. Like we've raced against her for years, right?
Yeah.
She's 39. I was like, I cannot believe she's still racing at this level. But my heart was like, come on, Dakotah. So for me, that was like very, very special. But the race of the day for me on the women's side is Fiona O'Keefe.
Of course.
I mean,
debut, knocked it out of the park.
And
it's so hard to
she
do.
was so in control.
Yeah.
And you know the confidence it has to take to say, oh, I feel good. You know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna push the pace on this 2:19 and 2:18 women.
It's the American
Yeah,
record
yeah,
holder.
yeah. The last 2 American record holders. Like, you know what? This is too slow for me.
Yeah.
It was sensational. And she was just like 5:26, 5:20, 5:20, 5:26. And then I didn't know because it's unknown territory, right? I'm like, is she going to be able to hold this? The weather is hot. Things start to pile up. And then mile 25 was a 5:09. And I was like,
pretty good
and
here.
she has arrived, right? Like, this isn't a
Yeah.
fluke. This isn't like just, it's
Yeah.
a special day, but she nailed that.
Yeah. Alistair and Amy said they hadn't seen anybody do a marathon build like hers. And obviously Amy's pretty
Right.
in tune with
Pretty
what's
good.
good and what like American record shape looks like and so on and so forth. And so they were ready. And I think the confidence of Amy being like, this build is unbelievable. Oh, and I've run 2:21. And I've
Right.
made
And I've won a
Olympic
medal
teams.
at the World
Yeah.
Championships. Yeah.
And, I think that goes a long way. And like the belief in yourself and in that work and in your coach's strategy and all of that stuff. Like it just kind of all came together. I thought it was really interesting seeing, and I don't want to go too far away from her race, but it was interesting to see her versus Natasha Rogers.
Yeah.
And those two races in like, this could go either way. She just connected the dots today. And unfortunately, Natasha struggled a little bit. So.
And their coaches, Alistair said that their builds were very different.
Yeah.
They didn't train together. And Natasha said it didn't come as easily for her and as it did for Fiona. Like, not everyone's the same. Natasha is a total gamer. Like, she's going to gut out every little thing. Oh, yes.
With the
Fiona.
notes. With the notes.
With the notes.
Chris.
Yes, thank you. Negative split for Fiona O'Keefe.
Yeah, that's great. And it was hot. It was warm.
It was
like,
warm.
It's not. This isn't your Chicago.
I mean,
day.
she just debuted at 222 without a pacemaker, without any help. I'm just thinking, like, I mean,
Sky's
I
the
don't want
limit.
I don't want to put pressure on her because I saw her and I was like, please just enjoy this, like, just take it in. But selfishly, I'm thinking, like, how fast can this girl go, right? I mean, if 222 on a hot day and a debut where she's way out in front, sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. She's super young too.
Yeah, she's only
Right?
25.
Like, that's crazy. So
Yeah.
I mean, when I was out there, I was thinking this sport moves incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Like, you might be hot for a minute, but it's gonna go like that, you
Yeah.
know. And like, we always talk about this: the half marathoners, the tracksters who come up that are quick, like, they are adapting better than ever before
Yeah.
to the marathon. So I hope she has a long career. I think we'll be talking about her for a long time. But
Yeah.
man, like,
You never know, but she seems like this is what she was destined to do. Yeah. Hard day for Sarah Hall. She fought until late. You know, she really hung in there. I was impressed by the women that just they knew. You know, if D'Amato and Sisson are the ones leading the charge, that's a real move.
yeah.
And so a lot of women, I was impressed by how big that lead pack was, with women just saying, you know what, I'm all in, right? Like, I'm not trying to move up late. I'm all in. I have to be in this race to make it. And Sarah really put herself in a really good position, and just wasn't quite enough. But I mean, 8 Olympic trials, every single distance event.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, her
Distance,
legacy
right?
is solid.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
You're good.
I mean, of course, I know she wanted that, but I'm like, that is one heck of a legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there anybody that you were like, I don't want to be negative, but like disappointed for? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed for Keira D'Amato because she is a little bit older. I don't know that she'll have another shot at this, but who knows? I mean, she's actually really new to this.
right, it's fair.
So who knows?
It's like her 5th marathon ever.
Yeah. I felt bad for there was a lot of dropouts, so I felt bad for Nel Rojas and Sarah Vaughan. But I do think that those types of things happen at these races because it's like when you dream and you realize, like, I'm not going to make it, it's really hard to find a reason to keep going.
It's Olympics or bust,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like, if you're gonna bust, you just step off and save it for another day.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few places, like, I think this is worth mentioning, where you don't have appearance money on the line.
Right.
We're like, well, I'm running fast enough to at least get my full check.
Right.
So it is what it is. Like, people just step off and save it for another day. So if your favorite DNF'd and you're like, oh, I can't believe that, there's plenty of reasons for it that are just logical.
Yep. I will say, I hope that Jenny Simpson runs another marathon.
Yeah.
Because I used to do long runs with her. Like, when I was training for the Rio trials, she'd go 16 on my 22. Up at altitude, 6-minute pace, not a problem.
Just
for
go.
her. Yeah. And she'd be like chatting the whole time, you know? And so I think there's something there, and I think it's a tough distance to figure out, but I hope she gives it at least another crown.
I do too. And I don't mean this as a knock, but it looked like she was doing her first marathon.
Yeah.
It was like, well, it looked like a 1,500 meter runner who was doing her first marathon.
Yeah.
Like, I got to cover the move. I need to be in contact with the leaders.
Right, and think in the 15, you can't let anything go.
Like, you got to be on their heels.
Yeah, if you miss the move by a half a second, you're done because you're not there when they start kicking.
And it just, that mentality looked like that's what she knows, and it looked like, oh man, I wish I could tell her to just, like, you got a long day, pump the brakes, you can cover this. You can cover half the move.
Right.
You can cover a quarter of the move, and then you can work on it for the next 3 miles.
Yeah.
So I think that this experience and, like, learning that stuff is going to serve her really well if she wants to come back.
Yeah.
I think she should.
I think she should too. I think she should give it another crack because since I personally trained with her, I'm like, you can't fake those types of runs. You know what I mean? So I'm like, there's something there.
She's got it.
Yeah. Okay, what about you? Anybody that you were surprised by?
A lot of people. I was surprised by a lot of people who just went for it. Like, you know, you have your seed number, and I was looking ahead of me in the first lap around, and I was like, that's a 60, that's a 72. Like, wow, like, you're just going for it. But it's a trials, that's what you have to do. And
I was thinking like Durgan and McKenna
Yeah,
miler, like they just went for it. I was like, holy crap, we're
Right.
going to see like a Cinderella story right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And they faded it in the end, but I mean, I
That's a
respect
marathon.
like, yeah, and I respect like do or die, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to go for it.
Team or
So,
bust. Yep.
yeah, 100%.
All right. Should we move to the men's?
The men's, yeah. Okay, I have so many thoughts on this race.
Okay. I know very little about this. I like kind of check the results and talk to a few people. So I want to hear your take.
Okay, so my take was that we all knew the assignment. You have to run the Olympic standard to unlock the spot. And I was under the impression that if you unlock the spot, you only unlocked it for yourself. And then I found out a couple of weeks ago, oh no. Clayton Young and Connor Matz unlocked spots just for Team USA. And then I was
Team
like,
USA.
I was like, wait, what? Like they understood the assignment. They did what needed to be done, and they're not like
that's like a lock.
Yeah, they're like everyone else is like, thanks guys.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Love the trials.
I was so nervous for them, and again, I don't want to play favorites, but I just felt like they had done what it took to make an Olympic team. They had opened those spots, and I was like, they deserve those spots. And so the race, theirs was a little bit slower in the beginning, a bit packed, and then Zach Fanning just went for it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think he ended up sixth, maybe.
Yeah.
But he deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah.
I mean, at mile 23, he was still in third.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, when they went by him, I was like, please hang on. And he did, right? Like, he was fighting.
I can respond.
Yeah. And you could see it on his face miles before that. You could see he was, like, uncomfortable. We saw the pace go from 4:48 to 4:55 to 5 minutes to 5:02. But he was still leading, and he was still just like finding it from within.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, when they go by him, I hope he holds on. And he did, right?
Yeah.
He like went with them, tried to use them. And unfortunately, it was just, to use a quote from you, it was like just too rich early on. But I was impressed by his will and his like willing to just leave it out there and go for it.
He's a guy who trains with the group, but he's so much better than the group. He trains by himself. So it makes a lot of sense for him. Like, I do this all the time by myself. I don't care if anyone's sitting on me.
Right.
I think he thought that was the best strategy, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to take this into my own hands. I'm not going to wait for anybody else. I don't want to respond to anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to worry if I do finish in third. How am I going to rank? Like, I'm just going to go grab this thing by the whatever and make it happen for myself. And I think I love that.
Right. I mean, I'm sure you can look back and think like, maybe he shouldn't have gone so soon, all of these things, but
I think he needs more experience.
I think so too.
I think he's a young marathoner. This is his fourth marathon.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do something special. He'll put it together.
Well, that's what I think. When he knocks it out of the park, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of just like give him a little love because he ran with his heart on his sleeve and just like went for it.
That shit hurts too. Like it hurts a long time because it's 4 years, and like we just talked about on the women's side, it changes fast.
I know.
So I guess I'd go back to the guys' podcast where it's like, don't let this moment define you. There's so many opportunities between now and the next games. Use every single one, every chance is an opportunity to like do something awesome. And then at the next trials, I hope he punches his ticket.
Yeah, me too. Well, Elkanah Quebec caught him first and looked good. It seemed like he was a sure thing.
Well, this is the guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, he's represented Team USA numerous times at World Championships. He's finally going to get a crack at the Olympic Games. And then Leonard Carrier was and CJ Albertson.
Yeah.
Done that final straightaway. They were both just coming. So kind of cool for Carrier since he was fourth of the last trials.
I like that story.
Yeah, I do too. And he's not guaranteed, right? He doesn't have the standard. The spot hasn't been unlocked. But hopefully if any American that's ranked in the top 80, they can – this is where it gets confusing. But if any American is ranked in that top field size – then as long as the person's run under 2:11:30, they can swap a ranking for a time.
So here's the crazy part. And I don't you have Fable, who was a favorite, one of the highest ranking guys. He drops out.
Mhm.
So how much does that ding his ranking? Rupp finishes 16th. How much does that ding his ranking? Panning's race, he finishes 6th. Does that bump him? Is it ultimately going to be?
But it doesn't matter who's ranked.
Yeah,
Just
but I'm
someone
saying
has to be ranked.
let me finish. So say Panning
Okay.
Panning hammers this thing. He bumps up in points because this is a gold label race. He's the guy who unlocks the spot.
He doesn't get to go.
Yeah, break my heart.
I know.
Again.
I know, that's rough.
Again. And I don't know how it's going to shake out. I'm just saying
Right.
hypothetically,
Right. It's a tough system.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the finish of the men's race. Have
Yeah.
you seen it on replay at all?
I did not see the men's winners.
Massive carbinos. Okay, so let me tell you about this. I can't love this Connor Manson Clayton Young story anymore. They are always together. They're super supportive.
Yes, but
Yeah, Clayton's like, Connor's the workout champion, but I'm like the recovery champion. They're so supportive of each other. And Connor said afterwards that he was hurting in those final miles, and Clayton waited for him. And I mean, like my heart's like ding, ding, ding.
I'm drenching.
And then, at the end, it's like, maybe we'll find out later, but it seemed like Clayton kind of like didn't fight all the way to the finish line.
Like deferred to
to
the workout king. I love that story.
I know.
I think the teammate thing is great. Reminds me of Amy and Shalane in 16. When you're a competitor, you're like, ugh, God, I hate that. But when you're a realist and a human, you're like, that's really cool. And I thought, I saw a workout video with those guys. It was like the 4x3 mile or something like that. And to me, Clayton looked like the very mature runner who trusted his coach. And I was like, he's going to beat Connor. Like, he is being super savvy here and super smart. And I don't know if he could have or not, but I think he's just like, I'm just going to do enough to advance.
Right.
And I haven't seen it. So that's just my take from the workout video. Like, this guy knows what it's going to take to check the box that he needs to check. And I don't care. First, second, whatever.
And he ran be on the team. Such a clean race.
Yeah.
He was never in the front. He just was always kind of 3 or 4 people back, just taking his time, just riding the storm out. But I had heard that he let him win, that he let Connor win. So this will be a little interesting dynamic, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, I love Des Linden. I love her. I think she's amazing. She was
no
effing way. I'm saying this is what I want to say. Like, that's my contract bonus.
Right.
That's my name in the legacy.
Right.
That's my paycheck on the day from the.
It's breaking the tape. It's the
It's
photo.
everything.
It's going to be everywhere.
And I was
my
like,
brand's like, oh.
I'm like, Clayton Young is a way better person than the rest of us.
100%.
Right?
Do you think you really let him win, though?
I don't know. Like, he kind of went like this. Like, he deferred to him.
Okay.
But I think, like, I mean,
He did.
I don't know that Connor would just be like, I don't know that Connor would want him to let him win, right?
Yeah. Okay, so here's an interesting thing, too. At the 20K, they ran side by side, and Clayton was going to win the road championships, and he was like, Connor, let me win it. So did he owe him one?
Ooh, maybe.
It's a give-take.
Now they're like, okay, we're good, we're
right.
even.
Well, yeah, until the Olympic medal's on the line.
Well,
so
listen, Clayton and Connor, I'm obsessed with you guys. I'm obsessed. Like, I saw them yesterday at the press conference, and I was like, oh my God, hi, you guys. And they're like, hey.
We don't know you.
Yeah. I'm like, I love your story. I love that you work out together. I love that you're super supportive of each other. But yes, at the Olympic Games, work together as a team for sure, because that gives you confidence and comfort. Great. But if you guys are kicking in for a medal, I need you to just run all the way through the line and hug after. Right?
Molly Huddle will agree.
Yes, that's right.
And not a knock.
It's not a knock. It's just the reality, right? That's there's a huge difference. So I just, But I loved that they got those spots. I felt like justice was served.
100%.
They got the job done. They unlocked the spots. They deserve to have them. So I was super happy that they got them. Not that I'm against anyone in the field, but I just felt like they were the ones that understood the assignment, planned it all out, got it done.
Fully agree. I've said that a lot in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, man, that's I've been looking at all the scenarios for the men, and I hope they just do it so that it's not what if Clayton finishes third and then he's
I
like,
know.
I gotta wait, and like, but I
Right.
unlocked that spot for that. Like,
Right.
that's just breaks your heart. So I'm glad that went to plan.
I think that there's a lot more for both of them too.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Connor Mantz has been on everyone's mind since he debuted in Chicago, but I think he has a lot more to give. Remember, he had a stress reaction in November. But I think that Clayton, his trajectory is like ding,
It's
ding,
insane.
ding, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited for him too. And just a cool story. I love them. And Ed Icestone is such a great guy. So
Yeah, talk about Ed Icestone for a little bit, right?
I mean,
right?
what a great
like
coach.
those
He's
two
put
guys,
3 marathoners on Olympic
Jared
teams now.
Ward,
Yeah.
he himself ran
Yeah.
an Olympic marathon.
Yeah, he was a 2-time Olympian, ran an Olympic
no
marathon,
slouch.
put Jared Ward on the team, got these 2 guys. I mean, that would be a cool training group to start.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
love that. Okay, what about the depth of the men's field? Anybody who surprised you? Anybody do you feel like Zach Pitting was a surprise, or were you like, oh, that makes sense?
I mean, I knew he was really fit.
Yeah.
And I knew he had run some really impressive workouts and workouts that the Hansons have done for years, so there's context behind them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not like just like a random one-off that sounds good. Yeah, no, go for it.
We're just recording something.
I'm like, wait a minute, we're at a bar. I just remembered.
It's the cigarette that set me off.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, what were we talking about? Was that Fanny? I knew that he was fit, right? Because there's the context of the history of the program. And so I kind of thought that he would run his way into that third spot. I was surprised that he took the lead.
Yeah.
That surprised me. I didn't see that coming, which, again, it just speaks to the confidence he had in his preparation.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you?
Not in hindsight. I think there's a lot of confidence there, but the inexperience. I thought they might be a little more passive with it. I think typically in a race, if it's like I don't want to wait for a kick, I don't want to wait for the second half to be fast. Like I'll wait 6 miles. That's the max. And he said afterwards, like I was going to go around 6, but I found myself in third after a tangent. So all of it made sense. It's interesting in that Brian Sell led for so long.
Yeah.
In that, I think it was 2000 or 2004 trials, and like it just wasn't able to connect it. And I think Zach had more experience than Brian did at that trials, but it's still like such a gamble to be out there leading.
Yeah.
And then everyone sits on you. Like, if you know this guy has a strategy and you're like, he runs for coaches who can put together a good plan, like, I'm just going to sit on it, which I would have done the exact same thing.
100%.
Like, oh, well, yeah, they're going to set him up with a good plan. I'm just going to sit on it.
Yeah.
But if you know that, it's just stressful. It's an extra layer of stress.
So can I have a little confession?
Go for it. Fire
I
away.
went back to the athletes to try to find you and Dakotah, and I was like annoying. I'm like, oh my God, Emily, I'm so happy for you. Oh my God, Fiona. I was like embarrassing, Des, and I never even found you.
I was gone.
I was like, I'm supposed to be part of the media, big time air quotes here.
Yeah. Once you're off the TV.
And I was just like, I got caught up in the moment of like how cool it is to make an Olympic team, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's really
It was
cool.
like really great. I know I'm like very mellow right now.
You're fired
I think that the alcohol is settling in. But
Did you cry?
I totally, when I saw Dakotah, I started crying.
That's awesome.
I just started crying. I was like so proud of her, right? Like it's going to change her life.
It is.
Listen, I'm so proud to be from Minnesota. It's tattooed on my body. She is going to be a legend for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
For the rest of her life. It's like just so amazing. And she's given like, okay, I'm just going to go down to Dakotah tangent here. But she has supported the local marathon. She's come to Grandma's like 3 years in a row. She goes to Boston, all this stuff, but she always comes and does like the things in our state, and that makes her so beloved to us.
Yeah.
So then to see her make an Olympic team, it's like it's amazing.
Can I do a Dakotah confession as well?
Yeah.
She's my nemesis.
What? How could that be?
No, like in racing, when I line up and if Dakotah's on a start list, I'm like, I have to beat her. Like, I have to beat her. And she got so good so quick. I'm like, well, if I can beat her, I'm having an awesome day.
Yeah.
And that was the thing coming in. I was like, I gotta beat Dakotah. And like, that was the mark. Like, that was the ticket to the team. And it's not like a negative thing.
Of course not.
It's like,
It's
I
like
respect
you
her
respect
so
her.
much,
Yeah.
and she's done so well. And I was at a Brooks thing, and we were chatting about it, like who our nemesis was, and I was like, Dakotah, and they're like, what? Like
She's the nicest person.
Explain this, and I'm like, no, because she's like on the trajectory to greatness, and as long as I can stick with her, I want to stick with her, and I want to beat her, because I know that means that it was a really good race.
Right.
So I'm super pumped for her. Like when she kicks my ass, I'm like, okay, that's a good run.
Okay, but we do have to talk a little bit about your race because I feel like you're a little sad. I know you want a top 10.
I wanted top 10.
But this is what I love about you.
Yeah.
That I could tell you were pissed off that you weren't top 10. You kicked in so hard. Like you closed like a monster.
I tried.
And this is what I love about you because you're not just doing it just because you can. Like you're still, the fire's still in there. The fact that you're like talking with your coach today and you're like, God, I just wish I was 10th. You know, like, no, like everyone else is like, Des freaking Linden on her 5th Olympic trials. I mean, what were your first trials? 13th. So in your 5th trials, you've never placed worse than 13th.
Yeah, the top 10 would have been cool.
I know. See, but I love that about you. I love that.
But
because that's why you're still out there.
If Rivers just cried. If I finished 10th, and I talked to Annie Frisbee after it, I was like, I was coming for you. I almost had you. And she's like, where were you? And I was like, I was on your heels. I think it was like 15 seconds or something.
I think it was 8.
Maybe.
I love Annie Frisbee too, by the way.
She's so great.
Yeah.
Oh, sidebar, the dog party fucking kicked ass.
Oh, we haven't even talked about that.
Because Dakotah was there, made the team. Annie was there. Oh, sorry. Hold the phone. Emily was there. Made the team.
Yeah.
Dakotah was there. Made the team.
Mm-hmm.
Annie Frisbee was there. Top 10.
So what are you saying? They need to thank you?
No, I'm saying come to our dog party because it's fucking awesome.
Dog party.
We have
is
Olympians
direct
there.
line to an amazing race.
Exactly.
I'm proud of you for organizing the dog party.
I was too. I thought it came out really well. All the dogs were great. They were all well behaved.
It looked like one dog was nervous. Was that one of
It was
Emily's
the beagle.
dogs?
The beagle is a rescue.
Okay.
He was a animal testing dog. So apparently beagles.
Oh, yeah, no. My
That's like the
sister
thing.
rescues beagles because of that. Yeah.
So they were great. And then it was pretty funny because like we were kind of giving personality traits to everyone. Like, well, Emily is pretty shy, so I could see the beagle being hers. And then like Dakotah's dog was like pretty shy at first, and then I was like, okay, I can get into this, and like that's kind of what Dakotah
That's 100% Dakotah.
And Annie's dog was like, I'm just gonna sit back and watch everyone and kind of judge, but nicely. And Annie doesn't really do that, but she's shy, so
yeah,
same vibes. And then the fucking retrievers, Rivers and Boston. And there was another golden, my friend Katie's golden. She's super outgoing. She's like, I need a lot of social energy when I'm down here. Can we meet up a couple times? And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. So she came out, and then they were just going, ball, ball, ball. And everyone was like, these guys are like the people that the bar is like, hey, you don't have to go home, but you get the fuck out of here. And they're like, okay,
Linden dogs.
One more round. Let's go. Let's get shots for everyone, and then we'll go home. But when we get home, we're going to hit the blast bar. And like, that was our dogs. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm so embarrassed. So there's a lot of time.
I really wish I would have been there.
Yeah, it was fun.
It really is amazing.
It was fun.
That was really cool. I'm proud you did that.
Yeah.
I'm from Duluth.
What?
Yeah,
okay,
we're
wait,
doing
hold
a
on.
thing. We're doing a thing.
No. Let's chat in a minute.
We have like 10 more minutes.
Okay.
But
it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm dying.
Chris, edit that. It's just like, I'm just don't have that much longer. Otherwise, I would have been like, just chat. It's fine.
Wait, no,
I'll
wait.
sit here.
Wait, we're going to wrap this up.
Do you want to
okay.
bring your friend back? See if he wants to be on camera. I'm not mad.
Oh my God, he's so horrified too. Okay.
He's fine. Do you want to come on the pod? Come here. Come here. Swing around this side. No, come over here. Gotta get it. Like, all right.
Okay, so we were just
doing
hyping
toast.
Dakotah Lindworm.
Oh
You're
my
from
gosh,
Duluth.
Dakotah.
Yeah,
Get your face in the
Get
screen.
your face in the
Dakotah.
screen.
Oh my gosh.
Let's,
Wow.
let's do this for.
Cheers.
What's your name? Where are you from?
Yeah, my name's Matt Welch. I'm from Duluth, Minnesota.
I'm sorry.
Probably the best runner from Duluth, Minnesota, likely. Went to Proctor High School.
You went to Proctor?
Also the best runner from Proctor High School.
Hey now.
Jerks came from Proctor.
Just kidding. I know. And Garrett Bjorklund.
Yeah,
and,
I'm teasing you.
and yeah, a lot of good runners. Yeah, but Dakotah was amazing. Holy
Yeah.
shit! I was so excited. I dropped out and I was at the finish, but I was so excited to actually
What
be
happened
at
with
the
your
finish.
race?
I wore the. Have y'all worn the Alpha Fly 3s?
Tell us more.
Do you think I would wear the Alpha Fly?
Tell us
3s?
more.
Do
How
you
bad
know-
were they?
I don't
How
know. You
much
just
do you
signed
know
with
about
Brooks. What do you think of the Hyperion 4s or whatever they were?
Sick.
Okay,
Sick.
let me
They're
tell
so
you
good.
Sidebar. I got my first pair of carbon shoes. And we're going to do a whole pod about me trying them out. I haven't put them on my feet
I love
yet.
this. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
But
didn't wear
anyway,
like
dude,
ultras?
I'm old. No. First
Carbon
of all,
Brooks.
At one point, weren't you
no.
ultra?
I
Do
was.
they have
yes.
a super shoe?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Oh, sorry.
But no,
Wow, that's some.
I'm a
deep
purist.
ultra.
But I'm gonna
Yeah.
try them now.
Good. Good.
So okay, tell
Good.
us about your experience with the shoe.
The Alpha Fly 3.
Yeah.
It
Didn't
felt
work for you.
it did not work for me,
Yeah.
and I have struck out. I'm 0 for 2 for the Alpha Fly.
Okay, so
In
I think it's
marathons.
time for you
To
to
move on. Try the
for
Brooks.
another-
It's time. I'm 3-0 for the Vaporfly for Nike. I have not tried any other shoe when
I
it
think
comes to the marathons.
I feel like it's
It
a
might
very
be time.
obvious solution.
Yeah, but I went to the
Brooks.
Hyperion house.
That's right.
I got my Hyperion.
That's right.
So,
What was your highlight of the day? Upside. Besides Dakotah.
honestly, seeing so many friends. It feels like 4 years.
And making
Like,
new friends.
making so many
Yeah.
new friends from Duluth,
That's
Minnesota.
right.
But not me.
That's right.
Well,
Yes.
We had a rocky start.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't know that
You're
you were.
fine, you're fine.
But it's all turning.
It's all turning because
It's-
now you're our
it's changing.
surprise guest.
Hi, everybody. I think just seeing so many friends.
Where do you live and train?
Bellingham, Washington.
Okay.
If you've ever been.
I have not. I'm not
Oh.
gonna lie.
What?
I normally I would lie, but I'm
Yeah.
I'm too honest right now.
You know
Just
what?
got the truth
It's
juice.
it's good to be honest.
Truth
You know, honesty is a virtue that I hold very
I know.
strongly
Normally I
in
just be
my
like,
heart.
oh
Is that a
yeah, yeah.
Minnesota thing?
So just being nice is
Honesty?
a Minnesota.
SoCal.
It
is
is.
not.
It is.
Working
yeah.
hard,
Working hard.
caring about your family.
Yeah. We got green bean casserole.
Yeah.
All-
Then-
We have
With the
saying hello to
crunchies.
everybody, regardless of
If
who they
you
are.
don't say hi, how rude.
And if you're at a stop sign and you don't say no, you first.
Get the hell out of here.
Seriously.
But
that's what I'm
like,
saying.
is it passive
And like,
aggressive
oops.
or is it legit?
No.
No, it's legit.
It's just the way
Yeah.
we're raising green.
And it's like,
Good for
oh,
you.
oops, sorry. Sorry
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
sorry. Oops,
Wow.
daisy. Yeah. I feel like
And then
you'd
it's
fit in
the
great.
it's the no, yeah, no,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
yeah, no, yeah,
Mhm.
and no, yeah,
So
which
you're,
all means the same thing. But
you're gonna be super happy because you know what I said on the broadcast today.
what's that?
You betcha.
Oh,
That's
Carrie Tollefson.
She came out of my
betcha.
mouth
You betcha.
because my coworker asked me if Dakotah Lindworm was from Minnesota.
Oh,
What was I gonna say?
Well played.
you
Well
betcha!
played.
I've definitely heard that. Actually, I remember that on the podcast I was
I'm like,
watching,
that's
or on the
happening.
broadcast. Yeah,
that was
I
coming out.
watching.
Yeah.
Betcha.
Yeah, that was so great. Yeah,
Awesome.
and it's
Cool.
only other Minnesotans that actually bring out my accent.
Same here.
I have a pretty neutral accent.
Yeah.
But then
No, but
The
you just said
Minnesotans.
accent.
accent,
heard
and then
it.
it's Minnesota.
So highlight of the day.
Yeah, highlight of the day.
Is seeing friends.
Wait, not yours, but of the teams. Like of the
Of the
races,
teams.
just the
Yeah,
races.
what was your favorite part of the
Highlight
your favorite
men's race.
performance
Yeah.
for the men and the women?
One thing I love, like following on social media, the drama of like Clayton Young. Nobody
Yeah.
picked him in the top
I love
three.
that.
Although
Big
everyone
deal.
did.
He shows
I mean,
up
I
to the press conference, sunglasses on. He has
I
something to
love
prove.
it. I love it.
Right,
I'm
and then he
obsessed.
just shows up. He looks insane good.
Mhm.
He's like encouraging Connor Mance.
Yes.
Like
It's crazy.
he could have won by, I'd swear, probably a minute if he wanted to. There's some maybe things going on between them, which is great, awesome. But yeah, that was definitly the highlight.
Yeah.
It was really
That's
cool
cool.
to see him just perform so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Anybody make you sad?
I ran at University of Minnesota for 4 years,
Oh.
but then I transferred to University of Portland. So it really made me sad that Scott Favre
Oh.
didn't perform the way that he hoped.
That was a tough one.
That was really,
That was
yeah.
tough because it seemed like the training had gone so well, and when we interviewed him yesterday for NBC, he seemed like so even keeled, like ready to go, like really
Yeah.
believed, and
Yeah.
so it's you just wanted to see someone be able to run their best race, and
Yeah.
if it's not good enough, that's fine. But
Yeah.
it's rough when
Leave it all out there.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
and he
that's
is
tough.
such a smart racer too, and he's just so committed to his craft.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's always really hard to see that.
Yeah.
I think, and
Fair
really
enough.
disappointing too.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We need a highlight though, because we can't.
Yeah,
leave
yeah,
on
we
that.
can't end on
Yeah,
this.
yeah, sorry. But once
yeah,
again,
come on.
Dakotah, are you
Yay!
kidding me? That's
Okay.
amazing. Like,
Okay,
wow.
but we have, like, I
I'm sorry,
love
you've probably been.
Dakotah, but we have
We've
hyped
done that like
her.
4
We've
times.
hyped her
So
so much.
much.
Let's get something else.
Yeah, something else.
What about that
Is
date?
beer, the brewery?
Yeah, Fiona, amazing. I will say Reed Fisher too. Like
I
how
love Reed Fisher.
intentional he was in his race, and he moved up so intelligently. Another Minnesota athlete. There's a lot of Minnesota
was
athletes
ninth,
here
right?
at the trials. Yes, yeah, top 10.
I mean, we represent.
That's right. That's right. Not me personally, but
Hey,
you know what?
will, and you do
One
because
of
you were
these
here.
days. That's right. I was, yeah. So it's just so cool to see him finally, and he's had a really hard couple years.
Yeah, I was
History.
super happy for him too.
So
That's a
I'm-
great one. We didn't even mention him.
Yeah, so I'm a
That's
huge
crazy.
fan of.
Yeah, like if you go through I mean, this is like a bonus pod, but if we spend some time really going through the top 10
Yeah,
at another point.
we might have to do that when we have clearer minds.
After the drinking games. Yeah, I think we'll get there. So, yeah, you got it. Are you on camera? We're on camera, yeah. It's not live. This will be weird later.
It's not
I'll
like
get it. So, yeah, good stuff there. I forgot what we're talking
I
about.
feel like we should do an Olipop top 5 and just invite everyone in to say goodbye.
Okay, we can do that. Let's do the top 5.
Okay.
Is there anything we've totally missed?
So
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We
for
missed
inviting
Reed Fisher.
I know.
Colin
I feel
Benny
like
was 10th.
Colin Benny. Okay,
CJ Albertson was just hauling.
I'll save that for the top 5.
Okay, what?
I got it. I'm not
What?
going to tell
That's
you. Why would I tell you?
Okay, should we start the top 5?
Olipop top 5.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to start with number 5, which is that I work with two of the coolest women, Amelia and Marina, who are the researchers. And they make me sound smarter than I am. And I love them so much. And they're like my family away from family. And we always work, and then hug each other and leave. And tonight we finally got to have like a beer together.
Hooray.
And so they did an awesome job with this meet, as always, providing me with so much information. And even on the fly, at one commercial break, I was like, texting them, what the heck. And I just adore them. And shout out to them because they are like, they're the real,
Kudos to the
team.
researchers.
Yeah.
They're the behind the scenes folks that give us all the information, give you all the information. And it's like you can pick and choose what goes and makes it, but like they give you a wealth of knowledge. And like no one's like, hey, great show.
Right, exactly. And then not to Kevin Sailors because he gives me all the splits.
Yeah.
So like they never get any credit.
Yeah.
Kevin, Amelia, Marina, they get nothing. But like there really is no show without them. So that's my first one.
Ooh,
They're
I love
awesome
that.
and they help the show be really good today.
All right, Chris has chimed in, and we're going to let him have this one. I'm all for it. The sign during the race that made me very, very happy, and I pointed at every lap, and I pointed at him, and I was like, yo! And I did this, because I was like, they worked on the sign for a long time. Nobody Asked Us intro song is a banger. Changed my mind.
That was really awesome.
Boom.
I have to tell you that so many people texted me that photo.
I love it.
And it was like, all of a sudden my phone was like blowing up before the race even
Stop!
started. And I was
I
like,
need the
what?
research
What?
to come
Yeah.
through.
I was like, oh, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It's a good sign.
All right,
Thank you, Chris.
I'm gonna take the final one, so I'll take number 3 and you take 2.
Okay.
This
Wait,
is gonna be
we've only done 2, so I'm
Yeah,
going to do 3,
3.
and then you have...
no, I'll do 3 and you'll do 4. and
Okay,
then I'm
so you're
doing
going 3.
5.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So this is 3. It's gonna be obvious.
Dakotah?
Yeah. I'm just
Dakotah. This is just a Dakotah podcast.
It's really not, because actually everybody that was in that top 3 today on both sides,
Yeah.
I am so happy for. Like career with being 4th 4 years ago. Who doesn't love Young and Mance? We've already like had our like I love them. I want them to I just want to give them more hugs. And this isn't even the beer talking. I gave them hugs after the race.
I love it.
Obviously, Fiona O'Keefe is like, I cannot wait to see what she does. And I was so happy for Emily Sisson because she deserved to be on that team.
Yeah.
But for me, I just love this girl. And she's run so many marathons and she always just goes for it. And to see that pay off in such a huge way and to see her legitimately so happy crossing the finish line, like realizing what is happening. That's got to make my Olipop
That's
top
it.
5.
That's the Olympic dream.
Yes.
Like, it's like the Olympic dream realized. And I'm so excited to see what she does in Paris, her preparation, her story that as she goes along. just one of the sweetest humans too.
100%.
Just a really great human. So Dakotah, cheers. They're very empty.
With our very empty beer.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna go with the. Gosh, there's so much. I'm gonna go with the Brooks men.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think on the men's side, CJ Albertson ran really smart.
Yep.
And we've seen him go to the front and like, I'm gonna lead Boston and be on TV. And it's like he's done with that. Like he's like, I want to make an Olympic team. How do I manage this? What do I need? How do I need to pace myself? And he ran a really great race today and gave himself a really good shot. You know, it didn't happen, but like that was really smart, savvy running by CJ. We saw it come
Agreed.
together. Panning obviously took the big chance. Like we're going to see so many great things from him. We've talked about him a lot. What a run from him. And then Colin Benny
I know.
has been
What a great run.
like it's just been quiet since
Yes.
the last trials.
Yeah.
In the last trials, it was like, dude, he's fighting for this thing.
Yeah.
And he's had top American at Boston in the COVID year is great, but then is like, we haven't seen him in a while. We don't talk about him. We don't put him on our list. And today he showed up and delivered in a big way. So 3 Brooks men in the top 10 is for
I like
me
that.
in Olipop top 5.
I like that. I like that a lot. Solid races by all 3 of them. Okay, my final one is going to be a little cheesy.
I'm leaving.
How fun is it to see you and be able to hang out with you afterwards?
Oh,
Because I always see you and then I leave.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like I see you for a minute and then I leave. And it's been like, I saw you at Boston, then I left, I saw you at Chicago. But like, to see you after the race and just like I'm so happy to see you. This is like another clink of our empty glasses. I'm just super
It's
excited.
okay.
It's
We've got
we
it
got
back
refills. I'm excited for what we can keep doing together. And I have to tell you, like when I was walking from the booth back to my hotel, I love your podcast. I love your podcast. I mean, it was like overwhelming.
Cool.
And so I'm like very proud of what we built. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to be able to actually celebrate with you here today. And I'm really proud of you.
1 million downloads.
It's pretty good.
In like a year. That's crazy. I think we have people who are so dedicated to the sport or people who are interested in running who happen to know us who are now becoming interested in the sport. Like
Yep.
I think the goal is just to keep getting people interested in running in every capacity. Like go out and do the activity. We love that. We want you to have success, but also like, hey, check out these pro runners. Their stories are amazing. And
Yes.
you get like this tiny micro space on
Right,
NBC at races, but like we can sit here and chat about it all, and like in person is so much better. We've had a number of beverages, which is awesome.
I feel like we kept it pretty good.
we were really great, but we
We-
started
we-
kind of early. I mean, I wasn't going to say that, but you kind of made it. So we did a good job, and we were before we started this, we were like, should we do it?
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't do it.
Maybe we shouldn't. We should or we shouldn't, but I think we did all right.
But I think this has been a very successful pod for a bonus pod.
I think so
and
too.
Just in general. So thank you for listening, and more awesome stuff soon. Cheers.